Hi, I'm Greg Denny. I want to tell you a phenomenal story, something I think we all take for granted. In the year 1800, there was no method known in Western culture, in Europe or the United States, for preserving food. If you had a peach tree or an apple tree, you could enjoy it during harvest time, but that was it. And so there was times of famine. There was times of real hurt and real want and starvation in a lot of places. And so in those years, the French government approached, one of their best scientists. His name was Nicolas Sapir. I don't speak French. I hope that's how you pronounce it. And they commissioned him to find a way to preserve food. And in 1809, which was the year Abraham Lincoln was born, in 1809, he discovered bottling, right? What we know as bottling and preserving food, where you heat it up, you seal it, and it preserves the food. I mean, isn't that amazing? I think it's so fascinating. I think we take it for granted. What an incredible idea. What an incredible concept. That now, instead of only being able to enjoy your fruits or your vegetables at a brief time of harvest, now you can have peaches for Christmas or Thanksgiving, like we just celebrated, or even 10 years down the road. It's amazing. It revolutionized the whole idea of overcoming famine and drought and want, because you could preserve in times of plenty for times of great need. Isn't that exciting? Isn't that such a great idea? That you can, in your pantry or in your basement or wherever you are, you can store up enough food for a year or two for your family. It's incredible. I hope you'll do it. It's a very wise thing to do. But I have a question here, and tie in now for the principle from the story. And I want you to really think about this. What good would all that food storage do you if you refused to eat it? If you just said, no, I'm not going to eat. Well, you'd die eventually after suffering tremendously. All right, what if you just said, well, no, I'm not going to eat any of the good stuff, and you just ate junk food all the time? Well, same thing. You'd eventually die after suffering for a long time. Well, the same thing is happening all around us all the time, but not with food, although it is happening, but with ideas and thoughts. Some great inventor came up with the idea to preserve ideas, to preserve thoughts, to preserve teachings. And they put it into books, and they got it to the printing press. Whoa! Now we can take these ideas, and we can print them off, and we can save them. And now we have videos, and we have audios, and we have ebooks, and we have blogs, and we have websites, and we have so much great information out there preserved and saved so that we can feast on it. So there doesn't have to be a famine of knowledge and a drought of learning. We can have access to great truth 24/7. We've never had it so convenient, so easily accessible. Literally, you catch my other video where I talk about the actual numbers of how many books. This is fascinating stuff. Look up this video. How many books you can actually fit on a smartphone in your pocket. It's incredible. But we have it all around us. But just like with the food, what good does it do us if we don't read? If we're not feasting on knowledge and truth? What good does it do us? Nothing. After suffering for a long time, we atrophy and die mentally or emotionally or socially or in your relationships or even physically because of a lack of knowledge. How many businesses fail? How many marriages fail? How many families fall apart? How many jobs are lost? I mean, how many sad things, social problems, because people refuse to learn. How much freedom and liberty is lost because instead of feasting on the great truth that's available, people waste their days away reading garbage, or wasting the time watching trashy TV or playing video games and not really digging in to this feast of life lessons, truths, books that could literally transform your life. I challenge you today to read voraciously. Make it your number one habit, because it is the number one habit of very successful people. They read, they learn, they study, they have curious minds, and they actually have a plan for education and growth. I want to finish with one last idea and a great story. You know, ignorance, like I mentioned, is hurting us. It's tormenting us on all sides. In every part of our lives, what we don't know does hurt us. It does affect us negatively. And yet, the solutions to our problems are available. It's there. I mean, the knowledge, the truth, the power, it's all there. We just have to access it. It reminds me of the story of Ignaz Semmelweis. He was in Vienna in 1847. He was a doctor there, and he was working with germs, and this whole idea of germs was just kind of crazy. People thought it was just nuts, right? Some crazy idea. But he realized that what was happening is the doctors were working on cadavers in the basement and then delivering babies upstairs without washing their hands. And so they were transferring germs. And the mortality rate was horrible. I mean, a lot of the mothers and the babies were dying. And he realized, kind of came up, hey, it's germs. And so he had it in 1847, he had them start washing their hands with some kind of lime solution. And the rates dropped from like 100 to 1. And he said, oh, it was so sad. He said, God only knows how many mothers have gone to their early grave because of my hands, right? And he revolutionized thinking. And I feel the same way. I think there's so many germs around, and there's so many little things where we're just lacking a little bit of knowledge in whatever it is, in our emotions, our minds, our families, you know, our health, our relationships in society, in our spirituality. In each of those things, a little bit of ignorance can do a lot of damage. They just didn't know what was killing them. And so go out, learn, read, study, become a lifelong learner. I mean, be committed to learning. Buy a book today. Get another book. I mean, get tons of books. Get a whole stack of books. Buy a whole bookshelf. And just one by one, just start knocking them out. Read at least 2 books a week. More if you can. Listen to audiobooks. Just get out there and just become a passionate and dedicated lifelong learner. I promise. I know it seems crazy. You might think, oh, books, come on, they don't make that big of a difference. I promise they'll transform your life, okay? Be sure to visit gregdenning.com. Put in your name and email if you haven't done that already. You know, and I'll send you free trainings and ideas and book recommendations. I'm going to do a whole series on books that you should read and why. Okay? And if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe to this channel on YouTube so you can get the updates for the videos and more videos about education and creating a life you love and reaching your full potential. Reach upward.